present some information about the BeLOVE study. I will start with a brief introduction of what BeLOVE is and what data is included in BeLOVE, and then I will discuss how the data set can be visualized by potential applicants. I think that's a really important feature we have implemented in cooperation with Fabian Prasser, who leads their research group Medical Informatics in the BIH. And then I will come to the main part of the presentation, so focusing on the use and access process we have integrated into BeLOVE, as there's a really large cohort study, and so it's important to have a working use and access process, including the decision-making process combined with this use and access aspect. And finally, I would like to discuss the pros and cons I see arising from our a little bit complex use and access process. So starting here, okay, you see maybe this. Okay, so starting here, yes. Okay, so the basic idea of the BeLOVE study is how can we better understand the common features, but also differences in the broad spectrum of manifest cardiovascular disease. And BeLOVE is an observational, prospective, long-term cohort study of patients with acute cardiovascular events or at very high chronic risk. So for this, we include patients after an acute event and build up a reference group of patients at high chronic risk, but without a known acute event in history. And so our central research aims in BeLOVE are first investigating the interaction of organs and diseases. So for example, the interaction between brain and heart or between heart and kidney. Second, identifying systemic factors. So what role do systems like the microbiome play, or what is the influence of the endothelial function or dysfunction on the outcome? And third, predicting the individual risk of patients. So all patients are examined in the same way from the perspective of all clinical areas. Important difference to many other studies is that we also perform, for example, the setup usually used in stroke studies, such as cranial MRI or cognition measurement for the patients with cardiac problems, or with an acute coronary syndrome or acute heart failure, but also perform the complete cardiological and metabolic setup for the stroke patients. After inclusion, all patients receive a phenotyping, including biosampling, answering questionnaires, and undergoing some basic tests. And patients are then invited for deep phenotyping in a special phenotyping unit, first 90 days after the event, and then each second year. All patients included will be followed up for 10 years with a biannual contact to assess endpoints. And these endpoints are collected by a separate working group from patients' data, from the hospital information system, but also from data from general practitioners, reports, registration offices, and death certificates, and are then adjudicated by an internal endpoint committee. In addition, we assess value-based outcomes, so for example, PROMIS. And it's important that we have implemented a phenotyping program which is strongly oriented to large population base, but also disease-specific cohorts. So for example, it's comparable to the program of the NARCO, National Cohort, German Cohort, or the Framingham study, or the SMART study, and so on. So some patients will be so strongly affected by the trigger disease, so by the stroke or acute heart failure and so on, and are not able to take part in the deep phenotyping program. And also these patients are invited to take part in a basic program focusing on the collection of biosamples and some other basic information. And in addition, we offer a kind of an standard plus programs, so with modules, disease-specific module, for example, cross-disease module, an imaging module, and yeah, patients are invited to take part in this longer program. Okay. And so on this table, you can see you have a very rough overview of the most important examinations and consecutively on the data at the time of recruitment, but also in the deep phenotyping program after 90 days and during the course of the study. So these data, the data collected includes medical, familial, socio-demographic, and behavioral data, clinical scales and scores, as well as biosamples such as blood, urine, stool, and so on, and a number of examinations with devices such as MRI, echocardiography, spiroergometry, and so on and so on. So we have a very deep and comprehensive phenotyping program implemented in the study. So we started BeLOVE in 2017. We started planning BeLOVE in 2014, but first recruitment was in 2017, initially in a pilot study, and from 2018 to 2021 in an establishment phase. And since 2021, we have been recruiting patients into the main phase of BeLOVE and have currently recruited around 3,600 patients into the study. So now I will come to the next aspect. I would like to present the question how we are able to manage the data for applicants. And in cooperation with Fabian Prasser and his team, we use I2B2 as a repository to visualize the BeLOVE data. So I2B2 is, I think you know it, it's an open software platform that makes it possible to combine and analyze clinical data from electronic patient records, but also from research data sources. And there are some interesting features in I2B2, like data integration options, so to integrate data from of various data sets, but including genetic information, lab results, and so on. It's user-friendly, so there are some options to combine data to, there's a graphical user interface that allows scientists without extensive technical knowledge to perform data queries. And data protection and security are supported, aspects of data protection and data security are supported, and for example, with anonymization and pseudonymization options, and it has a modular architecture. So in BeLOVE, the health data platform, which is a central service of BIH and Charité, is the core element for integrating data from the BeLOVE study. So you can see here we integrate data from the hospital information system into the health data platform. We also integrate all the study-related data into the health data platform. We use REDCap as the eCRF the database for the study-related and also questionnaire-related data, but also to get all data from analysis performed in the course of the study back into the database, and also for our endpoint or outcome project. We have, in addition, we have the raw device data, which are currently stored in an internal drive of the Charité, the S drive, which is currently not connected, or the device data part is not connected to the health data platform. There's a gap in our data transfer options. We have then the imaging data, which are on the research packs and which is connected to the health data platform. We have omics data, which are handled in a system on the core unit bioinformatics. It's called the solar system, and this will be connected to the health data platform in the next months. And we have also the metadata of the biosamples, which are connected to the Centrac system. This is connected to the health data platform. So most of the data sources are currently connected to the HDP, but not all. And we build the connection between the HDP and the I2B2 system. So most of the data or metadata of the data are transferred to the I2B2 system. And so during the application process, you can use this system to query if enough data are available, or to select subcohorts, for example, of patients. Here you can see the graphical interface of I2B2, and you have the option, for example, to select patients with a stroke, with a blood sampling at a specific visit, and an MRI. We have only the information. The MRI was planned. We have currently not the information. We have the imaging information in the I2B2 system, but there's a not all variables are currently connected to the I2B2 system. It's a work in progress system. So then you can run this query, get information about the number of patients. You can export your query and send it, for example, to our biostatistician team to handle it for their application. We can also get some information, some basic information about distribution of age, for example, or of sex. So some basic information of the distribution of the subcohort you have chosen. So we try to follow the FAIR principles, and largely we have implemented FAIR principles in BeLOVE, but you have taken into account that BeLOVE was launched in 2017 after a long period of planning. So not all aspects of the FAIR data are equally well fulfilled from a today's perspective. So data is easy to find, thanks to our connection to I2B2. And data is also easily accessible within the Charité using the health data platform. There are some challenges to get access from external for external partners, but we have external applications and are involved in external or in consortia with external access. So it's possible, but it's not the easiest way currently. We have some challenges with interoperability, as we set up BeLOVE in 2017, and at this time we used the NIH common data elements. These common data elements provided a unified structure and terminology for data capture and data sharing. But I think interoperability could be improved. So, for example, addition of a SNOMED CT or LOINC, for example. And data are reusable. So we have the data in the REDCap database. Most study data we have in the REDCap database, and this can be transferred in the CTES format, for example. So data are can be exported in different formats for analysis. And images, for example, are the DICOM format, so we use standard formats also for other data sources. We've also established a number of quality assurance processes. So we validate the data. We use defined data types and value ranges, for example, data quality rules for the staff entering data, as well as a comprehensive query management with automated cross checks, verification of missing data, and selective verification of source data, for example. So I will come to the use and access process in BeLOVE. To request data, applicants have to complete an application questionnaire, which is implemented in REDCap, and this application undergoes a formal review and evaluation process by the use and access committee. And applicants have the option to use the I2 database to identify subcohorts and also to send the information of the subcohorts to the to our biostatistician team, which can then select the data for the export. So this is only the graphical interface of REDCap. You know it, I think. There are also some additional informations for applicants. For example, a variable list, code book, study design information, and so on and so on, in a file in a folder here, and then we have a documented and transparent process. What's the stage of the proposal, and is a formal check. Has been a formal check performed, and have the reviewers accepted or rejected the proposal, for example. This is the data and sample use. Data and sample use application includes a number of information. So, for example, about project management, project partners, project title, and so on, summary, outcomes, also information for the analysis, or mock tables for the data analysis, transfer of the results back into the BeLOVE research platform, and everything has to be clarified before the proposal is ready to be discussed by the use and access committee. And we offer a consulting service for the applicants from the BeLOVE office, but also from the biostatistician team, so that if the applicant sends their application to the use and access committee, most questions are answered in the time before. And then the BeLOVE office forward the external applications received to the use and access committee after a formal review, and also after a review of feasibility and methodology by the biostatisticians team of the BeLOVE study. But typically, this is not this is more process and parallel process. So we consult the applicants and so on, this a little bit of ping pong process. And after that, applications are sent to the use and access committee, and then we have a number of review criteria to evaluate the applications, and a little bit more restricted review criteria if the use of samples is also requested, as number of samples is limited clearly, and so we are much more restrictively if samples are requested. So after reviewing an application, the use and access committee will make one decision. Application can be approved, or it can be guarantee a revision process, or maybe it's approved under specific conditions, or only if some modifications are made. Application can also be rejected if it does not fulfill the criteria for which are here listed in the slides before. And then the executive committee is informed by the use and access committee about the application, and also about the recommendation of the use and access committee, and the executive board confirms or modifies the recommendation of the use and access committee. And if there's a difference in the decisions of the executive committee and the use and access committee, we have a larger board of PIs where the application can be discussed, and the final decision then is performed by the executive committee. But we had, in the last years, we had never the case that there was a discrepancy between the use and access committee and the executive committee in the decisions. So after that, applications have also to agree to the data usage framework as well to the publication guideline during the application process. So for internal applications, applicants, the process is done if the application has been approved by the use and access and the executive committee, and then the data management team and the biostatisticians team will perform an export of the data and give the applicant access to the data. For external applicants, we have to make a contract, but most applications currently are internal applications, but some more and more applications come from external scientists. So it's used in an internal and external way. The data is used in an external and internal way. So we had, since 2017, we had 122 requests, and 70 of these requests have been approved. And a small number of requests have really been rejected, but there's a number of applications in a pending state. Some delays, in some cases delays by the applicants, or some applicants are not further interested in the data, and so on. So to summarize or to come to an end of the presentation, the process of evaluation and data export is a little bit complex and time-consuming for the BeLOVE office, but also for the data management team and biostatistician team. It's individualized, and data requests and exports are really customized and tailored to the applicants. But this needs time and good preparation of the biostatistics and so on, and good understanding of all applications for the data management team and the biostatistician team. And we had 3 months ago in July, we had an external advisor here at the site, and he recommends that we should store annual exports for more or less everyone, and a very low level review process, and only a higher level review process for manuscripts ready for publication, but give the data more or less to everybody who wants to get the data, and we should reduce our consulting in terms of methodological aspects and in terms of data selection aspects. So that's it. Thank you.